All right, let's get to, again, Matt in Darwin. So we're being very clear with everyone here. Senators, future senators, whatever, we're all here. No, appreciate it. So, Matt, you've obviously seen federal politics through the lens of the Northern Territory for a long period of time, and you know that budget night is this, big carry-on, and then you've got to find, what's in it for the Northern Territory. Often not much. But what do you think about the pre-game here, where the pre-game is all that they're going to do something about cost of living? I tell you what, the rabbit that he's going to have to pull out of the hat is going to be taller than Sam, and tall is Sam. He's a very statuesque gentleman, okay? But there is no rabbit the size of Sam that a treasurer is going to be able to pull out of a hat. So has this government already kind of spun itself into a corner of expectations?
Well, he's talking up a big game, isn't he? And I think it's pretty brave, perhaps admirable. I don't know. We'll see whether, I guess time will tell. But he's pretty brave saying that, we're going to have inflation, back between 2 and 3%. By Christmas, because I'm not sure how many levers the government can actually pull to make this happen, and the only ones that I think they're able to pull and they're going to pull in the budget would perhaps cause inflation to rise rather than come down. So I'd be backing Michelle Bullock over Jim Chalmers when it comes to where inflation's going to be come December. I mean, I've seen you go through the pomp and ceremony that surrounds the budget, and to be fair at some level to the Treasurer and the Prime Minister, it is the media that insists that the politicians show up for these.
Stop playing for access. It's
I
terrible.
think most of them would rather not be there, but it never looks good for anyone, really. Yeah.
Okay, bring back the awkward grab team. All right, come on, James, go find it. We're going to play it again because it's a little bit like, what's the Babadook or something? As soon as you mention it, it must appear. So if I say it 3 times, or is that Beetlejuice? I never forget. But still, what we're talking about here, the super awkward, wonderful moment when they're sort of posing for the cameras. They don't just go, so they have to sort of say things to each other. And it's so awkward. It's so bad.
I've been there.
And I love playing it. I love playing it. Play it again, Sam.
It's a great budget. Provides cost of living support whilst also having that eye on the economy of the future.
And a great budget for women. All those decisions we took on women's safety, housing, the care economy, all these really important ones around driving economic equality for women.
Yeah. No, I think we should be really proud of it. It's ambitious, but it's responsible at the same time. It's got a lot of help for a lot of people, but also some investment in the future. And so I think the whole team can be really proud of it.
Decisions we make today can set us up for the next decade and beyond.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Senator, as you said, you've had to go through that ritual. I know it's awkward, but who cares? If they feel a little bit of pain, as opposed to the people who actually pay for the budget, fine by me, baby.
Well, I normally just talk about other things. I mean, that was so awkward because they're not going to play those grabs anyway. So you start talking about the footy or, what do you do on the weekend? What did you have for dinner last night? Something a bit more natural, but that was painful. That was very painful.
I love it. And Matt, you know what I particularly love is there'll be someone somewhere inside the phalanx whose job it is to hate watch this program, as opposition research. Enjoy your pain. Because I will do it every year, every time. It's awful. Anyway, about the actual budget, Sam. They are setting expectations. Yeah, they set expectations, so they have to come up with something. And I think that it's impossible for any government to come up with the solution to all the world's problems. But that's how they're marketing it.
Look, maybe there's a problem with their spin. I don't know. Let's talk about the actual substance. And to your point of cost of living, inflation is the single biggest problem because that leads to interest rates. Correct. And I saw your promo beforehand, and yep, there's a disagreement betwin the Treasury and...
Promo. It's called an editorial. But
the editorial between the Treasury and the... RBA. Can we all cast our minds back to...
but they're both wrong all the time.
But this is the point. The previous governor was on there saying, we're going to have historic lows until 2024.
Rates will never
and then
go up.
3 months later, he was jacking him up a point at a time.
This treasurer sacked that person and replaced them
Sure.
This is the hand-picked one.
And so just so we're all clear, it's not actually Jim Chalmers sitting down there on his little typewriter writing the budget and doing his abacus calculations. He's got a guy called Dr. Stephen Kennedy, who's the head of Treasury.
Who, by the way, is paid twice as much as the Prime Minister.
Sure, that is
Twice.
thousands of people. This guy's got PhDs in economics and all sorts of things.
And they get it wrong every year.
Sure, but these are teams of
that's not quite
boffins.
right. It's not
These
quite
are
right.
teams of boffins going at it with the spokesperson of the Treasurer and the Reserve Bank Governor being the two heads of these things. So it's not as though Dr. Jim's up there saying, oh, well, I reckon it's going to be X and I reckon...
But
These are a bunch of assumptions.
Oh, so he's just the front man of the band singing somebody else's song.
No. The assumptions are based on mountains of economic data. And it's absolutely reasonable to question an institution that gets the numbers wrong.
My made-up number
so
versus
often.
your made-up number.
It's reasonable to have a discussion about whose numbers right and whose numbers wrong.
I've got to take a break here, so maybe you
right.
pick it up after. But, Senator, you've got 15 seconds if you want to bang back on it. Go.
Why does he get 15
Well, just
seconds?
quickly make
Because
the
I
point.
like him.
It's the government. It's the government's figures. They are informed by Treasury, but ultimately they're signed off by the government, by the Treasury.
I like him. I
And he
love
can
you all.
change.
But he gets the final say.